friends. I am Dr. V.K. Katyal. I am HOD Medicine at Positron Multispecialty and Cancer Hospital, Rohtak. Previously, I was working in PGIMS Rohtak, and I retired last year as HOD Medicine. I worked in PGIMS for 35 years, and my basic areas of interest were medicine and the cardiovascular diseases. So I'm going to talk to you about a very important subject which we often ignore in the OPDs because of the crowded OPDs which we have nowadays. I'm going to talk about healthy diet for a healthy heart. Now, as you know, cardiovascular diseases are one of the major uh, disorders the world over, and India is not an exception. These are the diseases which are said to be due to unhealthy lifestyles. Now, what are the lifestyles a normal man is supposed to have, or healthy lifestyle a normal person is supposed to have? He should have a ideal body weight. He should not smoke. He should not be taking alcohol in excess amounts. He should not be eating certain types of feed. So the diet is a very important component of healthy lifestyle. And then, of course, he should be exercising daily or walking daily at least 30 minutes per day for 5 times in a week at least. Now, the healthy lifestyles so not only include the other components, which also include the salt intake and the food intake. Now, I'm going to talk about basic component of the diets, which shall provide a good diet for a patient who does not have a heart disease, or even if a patient has a heart disease, this diet is going to reduce the chances of his having episodes of acute coronary syndrome or other complication of cardiovascular disorders. Now, largely speaking, this is advocated by National Education Program Adult Treatment Panel, and basically any patient who has a heart disease or who does not have a heart disease, but he has the risk factors like hypertension, or a person who has a family history, or a person who has a diabetes mellitus, or a person who is overweight, that is a person who is more likely to get a coronary artery disease. So these are the person in whom the LDL reduction is going to be of beneficial, at least of 10 to 20%. And if you can do that, it is going to decrease the burden of atherosclerosis in various vessels in the body, and hence the cardiovascular disease may be delayed or prevented. Now, what is recommended is the total fat a human should consume, an adult should not consume more than 25 to 35% of total calories. The saturated fat should be kept absolutely minimum, less than 7% of the total calories. Polyunsaturated fat can go up to 10%, and monosaturated fats can also go up to 20%. In addition, the carbohydrate should be 50 to 60% of the total calories. One should take 20 to 30 grams of fiber per day. Protein should be about 15% of total calories, and cholesterol should be less than 200 milligram per day. And the total calorie should be just good enough to maintain a normal or an ideal weight recommended for a person of that age and sex. Now, it's very easily said, this slide, but the layman will not understand what is the saturated fat, what is the polyunsaturated fat. So I am going to ultimately give out the food articles which one must consume and one must avoid as far as the healthy diet is concerned. Now, before that, let me give the background. Why should you increase viscous fiber in your diet? Because 5 to 10 grams of fiber will going to reduce LDL by 5%. This is a whopping decrease in the incidence of atherosclerosis if LDL is decreased like that. Similarly, certain plant stenols or sterols, if consumed, particularly the vegetable-based foods like broccoli or other types of green vegetables, spinach, these are going to 2 to 3 grams per day are going to reduce LDL by 6 to 15%. Similarly, soya protein have been said to be very good for the heart, and they lead on to reduction in LDL. Omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acids are also going to decrease the coronary events and mortality. Similarly, B6, folic acid, and B12 has been hype against reducing the homocysteine, but they really do not matter. And antioxidants, which were given in the early part of this century, have been largely given up as far as the component of diet is concerned. So these are the options which will help in maintaining a good health of the heart, whether it is normal or it is abnormal. Now, why this has come up? This has actually started with a Mediterranean style diet, which was given to a group of patients, 605 post-MI patients. And this was a very famous Lyon heart study, very small study, but it gave a lesson to the world. And in this study, Mediterranean diet was given to the individuals, and that diet was very rich in alpha-linoleic acid, which was taken from olive oil and canola oil. In addition, they were asked to take more of fish, whole bread, root and green vegetables, eat less meat, eat more of fruits and vegetables, and use canola or olive oil as a fat source. And what this study found, that after about 2 years, they found that a 70% reduction in the all-cause mortality in these patients who have already suffered myocardial infarction. But this was a whopping decrease, and the word stood up as to what this diet is all about. It can reduce so much of mortality. And on the basis of this, certain types of diets were now requested or were now allowed for patients of having a heart disease or those who want to prevent a heart disease. So what are the steps for a healthy heart? What are the good dietary habits where you can have a healthy heart? And these are also known as heart healthy diets. The first most important thing is we should cut our portion size. Most of the people, they keep on taking large amount of food, large amount of calories, unhealthy food, and this leads on to increase in weight. That increases the fat burden, cholesterol burden in the body, and increases the chances of atherosclerosis. So one can use a small plate or bowl. You should eat more of low calories, nutrient rich foods such as fruits and vegetables. Eat smaller portions of high calorie. There's some very high calorie foods available in our country, like sweets. So these are very, very high calorie food. So they should eat small amounts of high calorie food, high sodium foods such as refined or processed or fast food. We are very fond of fast food nowadays, but they are very, very unhealthy in terms of the fat taken and in terms of the sodium taken. One must take more and more vegetables and fruits. They are very good sources of vitamins and minerals. They also are low in calories and they're very rich in dietary fiber. And eating more of fruit and vegetables is also going to cut back on high calorie food intake such as meat, cheese, or snack food. So very healthy option is take more and more vegetables and fruits. Similarly, nowadays there is a fashion that people have started coming back to whole grains. In the initial 10-year or back, there was a fashion of not eating whole grains at all. But now it has been clearly proved that whole wheat flour, whole grain bread, preferably 100% whole wheat bread or 100% whole grain bread, high fiber cereals, 5 gram or more in a serving, high grains such as brown rice, barley, buckwheat, they are very good sources of fiber as well. So whole grain pasta, if somebody is interested in taking pasta, he should take whole grain pasta. And similarly, oatmeal. They are very good whole grains. They are meant to decrease the cholesterol level going to the system, and also they are going to increase the fiber intake. Similarly, unhealthy fats are very commonly available in our country, and the saturated and trans fatty acids, we keep on eating day in and out. We should reduce their consumption. The idea is to reduce the blood cholesterol and lower the risk of coronary artery disease. One should prefer oils. Oils are very commonly given in our country are vanaspati oil or desi ghee oil or cream or butter, but we should prefer olive oil, canola oil, vegetable or nut oils, margarine or trans fatty free margarine, cholesterol lowering margarine such as Benicol, or nuts and seeds and avocado. They're very good healthy foods which can reduce the cholesterol in the circulation, particularly the olive oil. Olive oil may be costly, so one can consume canola oil, or one can use more and more nuts and seeds which are going to lower the LDL. We should also choose the low fat protein. The proteins in our country are largely available in dairy products which are very high in fat content. So one should take low fat dairy products, such as skimmed milk or low fat milk or yogurt or cheese made from skimmed milk. Similarly, eggs, fish, particularly the fatty fish, cold water fish like salmon, tuna, or mackerel. They're very good sources of reducing the LDL in our system and hence the atherosclerosis. Skinless poultry, legumes, they should be consumed almost daily. Soya beans, soya products such as tofu are very good for lowering the fats in our body. Similarly, lean ground meat. Some people are fond of taking a lot of meat. So if they should take a very, very lean or thin pieces of meat and should avoid organ meat at all costs. They are very rich in unhealthy fatty acids. Now, similarly, one should reduce the content of sodium taken, and instead you can use herbs and spices. There are a lot of spices available in our country, and one can make a concoction of all these herbs and spices and use this instead of salt in so many food articles which are consumed daily. So salt-free seasoning blends, canned soups and prepared meals with no added salt should be taken. You should reduce the salt versions of condiments such as reduced soy sauce or reduced salt ketchup. The ketchup is very rich in salt, so one should try and take a non-salt ketchup. Now this is the 2 or 3 slide which I am going to tell you, and it has four components. First is the step. Second is what I am going to eat in large amount. Choose easily. So choose from this column, and you should go easy on this column, and you should avoid this column. This is a very, very important slide which will tell you that we should avoid all these food articles, and I am going to tell you about. As far as omega-3 fatty acids are concerned, one should consume 1 to 2 times a week, and the articles which are rich in omega-3 fatty acids are various types of fishes like salmon, trout, herring, water pig, tuna, sardines, and also flaxseed, spinac, and fish oils. These raw shellfish, of course, are not available in North India, but in the southern part of the country, this can be used. So, but it will go on very slow on this, not taken large amount. In any case, one should avoid deep fried fish or fish fingers, which are very popular dish in many parts of our country. So one should try and avoid if you want to increase the omega-3 fatty acid. Similarly, to switch to vegetable oils, you can switch to flaxseed oil or olive oil or canola oil instead of all the types of vanspati one we are using. You can use a lower or less costly high oleic safflower oil or sunflower oil or soybean oil. But in any case, one should avoid the corn oil or the palm oil or the peanut oils, which are very, very rich in saturated fatty acids. So the oil is extremely important component of our food and diet, and one should choose very judiciously if you want to have a healthy diet. Now, similarly, one should load up with plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables, and it is recommended 3 to 5 times a day. The fresh vegetable should be 4 times a day, 4 to 6 times. Very difficult to consume, but whatever is possible, one should load up the food articles with fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. And fresh juices, of course, can be taken. Dried fruits and canned food should be limited, but we should always avoid the vegetable and fruit prepared in cream. These are very common articles or dishes available in various restaurants. You try to avoid that. You can add nuts and beans in your diet, and like soya bean, kidney beans, split peas, other beans, and nuts of all kinds, whether it is almond or it is pistachio or it is kernels of akhrot, as you call it. They are very good in lowering the fatty acids in the body, particularly LDL, and they should be consumed about 28 grams in a day. One can have a proportion of 50% akhrot, you can have another 25% almond, and still 25% you can have the other like pistachio. And they should not be salted, and they should be consumed as such. And so if you are fond of taking salted fats, go very small amount salted fat, salted nuts, and always avoid the stale and rancid nuts. Similarly, one must limit the saturated fats, and these are the food articles which are not very rich in saturated fats like fish, lean meat, chicken, low dairy products, dark chocolate, egg, white. The salami, cream cheese, milk chocolate, egg yolk, they should be consumed in moderation. But in any case, you should avoid fatty meats, organ meat, whole milk, ice cream, and full fat cheese and ghee at all costs, which are very rich in saturated fats. Similarly, for vegetarians, the diet which I have told you just now was for non-vegetarian. Now, this is the diet for vegetarians, and you switch to all those aisles, the same for vegetarian or non-vegetarian, all the oils remain the same. The fresh fruits and vegetables also remain in the same amount. The trans fatty acid, one should consume more of stanol-rich margarine instead of the other fast foods. And you can also use peanut butters. But fast foods, whole milk, ice cream, full fat cheese, ghee, French fries, deep fried food, chips, and other packages which are available in various forms in our country, like bhujia and other snacks, they should be avoided. And they are very, very rich in saturated fat and trans fatty acids. So this is a huge area in our country where we keep on subjecting our body to unhealthy fatty acids. These are known as trans fatty acids, and all packages, foods which are mentioned here have to be avoided if you want to avoid the heart disease and keep the diet healthy for your heart. So this is an important subject. Similarly, fibers, they should come from the whole grain, as I told you, from the cereal oats, from brown rice, potatoes with skin. They're very good source of fiber, and should not remove the skin in potatoes. Similarly, pasta, white rice, mashed potatoes, and egg noodles should be taken in moderation, and always avoid the sweetened cereals, white bread, table sugar, honey syrups, candies, and other processed foods. You can take 8 glasses of water per day, and unless it is contraindicated. Skimmed milk should be 4 glasses, pure fruit juice 2 glasses, 4 cups of tea can be taken, and smoothie prepared from yogurt is also very good for lowering the cholesterol. Coffee and other sweetened fruit juices which are available in can, you should try to avoid or take in very, very moderation. So this is what is indicated as far as the healthy diet is concerned. Thank you very much. The healthy heart diet must start from very early age, and particularly in persons who have a strong family history of heart diseases, persons who have a hypertension, persons who have a diabetes mellitus, or a person who are overweight. These are the persons who are most likely to get cardiac disease. And once this is present, all these people should be advised to go in for a healthy heart or healthy diet so that it can be taken care of.